Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Dead End here in City Skylines. Where last episode, guys, we got things all up and running with the train lines. We've created a passenger route from Port Exporto, all the way to Los Wages. But the problem was we couldn't get it to work because I don't quite know what was going down, but there was a certain issue with the train line which didn't make the ability for trains to go down a certain route. Which, in general, if we never did that, we wouldn't have realised the issues that we had to hand. Now, since then, the issues have been rectified, but what has brought along with it is more issues down the road. Now, the issues aren't as bad as what they once was. I've let a little time pass by to kind of see where the problems are lying. But basically, this stretch of train track, which basically wasn't usable, now it's usable. Every person in the whole entire world decides it's now time to use trains, which has caused some ridiculous train jams. Now, as you jump into it, guys, if you are enjoying this series and want to see more, please make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're around here, make sure you do subscribe so you're notified the next episode does come out. But basically, we had an issue between here. In this little section here, we had an issue where trains couldn't utilize and go through it. Thus meaning everything up here to down here was technically not connected. And I don't know why, it was a weird one, but we deleted it, we got it all back in. But since then, we've had some big issues. We got train jams, a couple here. Now, it looks bad right now. Trust me, this is nothing to what it once was. There were train jams on every single line of track. I've just given it a little bit of time to simulate, and this is basically the tail end of it. It will eventually clear, but what is clear to me is we do kind of have an issue if we do get overrun again. Now, technically, we only have one, and all the way up here, two inlet/outlets for the trains to come in and out. And there's a couple of train kind of lengths or tracks that passenger lines and cargo lines utilize together. Now, that's not a problem. It is not a problem. But if I can divide some of the important routes, then we can save ourselves a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to play around and hopefully add in a little bit more extra train track and divide the lanes in different ways, just to get things rocking and rolling back to the good old days. So, like I said, even though this is going to eventually clear itself and then we'll go back to normal, it has opened my eyes a little bit to how fine we are running to the edge of total gridlock on the train lines. So, what I want to take a look at then is the train lines themselves. Now, if I go to the train tracks here and go to the passenger lines, you can see that we have the passenger line that goes all the way from Port Exporto all the way through this system all the way to Los Wages. So this whole stretch here is being utilized by a passenger train. Granted, it's only one train, so I'm not worried about that one too much, but it's also being utilized by passenger trains and cargo. Now, the one that I'm more concerned about is these two lines that come from here, the yellow and the green, because they both come down, they go around and shoot back up through here, round and then back up to get over to Tumbleweed. Now, again, that's not a problem in the grand scheme of things, but if I start pushing more and more cargo on these lines, thus then making more trains, it'd be nice to get those passenger trains off that sweet run for the center, so the cargo trains have got a little bit more space to play around with. I also need to kind of figure out as well an alternative route to get to Port Exporto without going all the way up here, keeping this route in obviously, but maybe bypassing it slightly and then connecting further up the road. You know what I mean? A couple of bypasses. If you were building like a road system, you would have bypass roads because it's a little bit jazzy with what's going on over here right now. Right then, so we're going to look at this first then. So going back in the grand scheme of things then, I want to try and slightly divide it. Now, at the minute, the only kind of train line or the only trains that utilize or use this here are passenger lines. So they come over, then they connect then to what I would consider the cargo line. Now, what if they didn't connect to that and then we made them run parallel with another line that got to here and then crossed over to there? So the main line that tears through the middle, what if the passenger trains never touch that? Thus making the cargo trains have free run, so there's less traffic on it. I think that would be quite a good idea. I don't know how it's going to play out, but let's kind of see. Now, granted, it is going to be connecting to this. I could run simultaneously another train line down, but they're going to go until they connect to this point here, because that is where it happens. You see, the blue line here has a separate line to the cargo line, so why are we not implementing that kind of stuff in generic areas? You know what I mean? Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll try our best right now. So this could be exciting. So, what are we going to do then? First things first then, let's build an alternative route. Now, the problem is we're going to have as well is the fact that a lot of this is already windy and bendy, so you're not going to get the full story and the majority of it. So if I bring this up to there, and I'm going to try and run parallel now as best as I can a couple of train lines. So there's no kind of easy way for me to do this, so we're just going to have to kind of run with it in a way. Now, what would be easier? Not having this connected? No, not that. Is it this one? One of them it is. I can't remember which one it was, but I don't think we've got much choice anyway. We don't really have much choice. So if I go to there, we kind of keep to that bend. If I go... See, this is going to be interesting right now. Trying to get all this connected. Bam, bam, bam. A little bit of a wiggle there. I mean, I don't like that. Honestly, I don't like that. So let me just delete this back to here. And it's tempting to do something crazy, but I know it's not going to work out. So we'll probably go to here and then to there, which it completely throws that one out, but I don't really have much choice in the matter of this one. So bend that like that a little bit. Bring that down a tad. There we go. So connect you up. We have something there running parallel. Now, what I'll do is the new outer line I've just created will basically be the cargo line. So then I want to replace this bridge that turns this way with this line here. Then make this one then kind of go under this way to run down parallel with all of that. So it does mean kind of reconfiguring that. So I think we're going to jump into pause for the time being right now. Delete you up to here. There we go. And then we're going to have to also then elevate this. So if I bring this out to the same height right now, which would be about there. And then if I kind of raise this to kind of match it. So again, as similar as it can be. Now I don't know whether we're going to be able to do such a bend from there. 46 by 18. So if I do this, then 18 by 18, obviously raising it up. No, we'll keep it to 10. And I'll anarchy this in. So 18 by 18, which does mean I have to move some of these supports and structures. But this then should be a straight connection over. Which it is. It gets a little bit close there, but it shouldn't be any issues. And off it jumps into that area. So if I just kind of raise this slightly, maybe raise that down a little bit. Now, I didn't create any pillars just there. Didn't create any through here, so we're okay. We're okay. So, at that point then, we need to slightly change things up a little. So we need to run something simultaneously along down here. It gets a little bit too close for comfort just there, but it's not a problem. Again, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm now going to have to delete you. I'm so sorry. But please bear with me. Bear with me. We'll raise this up. And again, I've got to try and get it in a straight line. Which half the time it's not going to want to play ball. There we go. And then if I can bring it from this side. Go normal, styly. To about there. Elevate you over. And then we've got the 2 runs on the go. So then, if I bring that round, which at this point, it actually shouldn't be elevated. There we go. So once them trains are moved, I'll figure out what's going down with this right now. So if I kind of have a little bit of a... Ooh. So this is the problem we've got next. Oh wait, no, this is going to connect over to there. So if I bend them all, say, down to here. Bend you in. And if I push that back a little bit, back a bit more, and then we run kind of semi-straight. So I know at that point there, it's going to kind of drop in. So I do a 25. And I run that to there. And we'll get these now two connected. So we'll do a 14 by a... Oh, 14 there. Okay, that's pretty good. 13 by a 13. And now we're running parallel, boys. So, unfortunately, got to get rid of you. But in its place, we will create you. So that's 33. So I bring us down to a 20, 13 by 13. It all just falls into place, doesn't it? So I've switched it over. We're now going to get this connected in a V. And then I can press play and we're back to normal. As normal for the cargo line only. For the cargo line only. So if I go this direction right now, I got to get it into like a 21 almost. A 20 would be fine. 21 just there. Making sure they're all connected. Yep. We're all good to go. So they're technically on the wrong side. Some of it. They are technically on the wrong side. But they'll just despawn themselves and then get into the right position. They will. I've just now got to run a simultaneous line coming down. And then where this goes around and connect to there, it's actually going to do a right. Come up with us. And run parallel as well. So we'll bring that up. And we'll pick another kind of straight-ish point from there. Now, could we create said connection? I'm going to say it's there by 23. Do you know what? It's not far off. We'll go with it. We'll go with that. And then this here, again, it's not perfectly straight. But I think I could... Oh, do you know what? I can run it straight like that. I know it kind of then starts to kind of frail away from it. But that's going down, and this needs to stay on the high side of it. So... Right, if I bring this a bit closer so we can then kind of snap onto it as we get to that certain level. To there, and then we are looking then at a 15. No, a 16. 16 by 16. Right, let me delete that. I understand the change we got to do now. 16 by 16. And obviously this one's going to come right down to the ground. But that's not actually going to snap in. It's not a 16. It is a 15, right? 16 by 16. There we go. So now we just got to change how this all comes into connect. Now, is this going to be the perfect, way for us to do this? Probably not. Probably not. But if I have all this elevated, this little section, and to there, we can then align it correctly. So this alignment here is a little... I kind of didn't move it. There we go. Move it. There we go. Raise you up slightly. Because we've got to make sure that the vehicles can go... Bring it down. Underneath. Now, it's hard to tell from this angle, but when you view it like that, there's plenty of space for the train line to do what it's got to do. If I slightly raise this a little bit, and the drop is not too bad, to be honest with you. So I think we can get away with how that is now looking. So if I just go normal, connection, la-di-da-di-da. And they eventually connect up down to here. So then here, we are getting rid of you. Now, this is also going to be one of those tight bends situations. So if I bring this right down to there, and then we're looking at another snap. So if I do a 12 by a 12, but then obviously drop this one down. So we're going under again. I don't know whether going under is the best option, or whether I pushed it out a bit and then brought it round and down. that in itself might be a better option because of how tight this turn is here. So if I bring this down to 6 and then we're bringing it down to 0 and then bring it straight. So this is what it originally was. Was that how it originally was? Because the ground right now is saying otherwise. Right, we have to kind of sink this down a bit then. Right, sink that down to about there. And then if I change the alignment on this, so from there to say here, add that drop in. And then what we'll do is we'll also raise that little section there so it digs in. And then we'll go normal as we kind of slightly raise back up. So I'll do a 10 by, yeah, we'll do a 10 by 10 and bring it up by 10 so we come back up to the ground. I'll do a 10 by 10 and that then is a 14. So what if I went by a 14 by a 14? Would that how would that connect up? 14, no, we'll go for the 15 mark. $16 by a 14. We'll go with that instead. And again, that drop seems ridiculous. So we'll sort it out. So from there, we'll slope it as it goes round. It seems a bit more stable to do that. There is this here, which I'll now get rid of. There we go. So everything passes over just wonderfully and nice. Beautiful. So you have these two simultaneous tracks running. Now, I kind of didn't need to do it, but at the same time, I've got enough space to do it. And then it really keeps separate around this region anyway, the commercial and the cargo lines when it comes to the trains. So, very important. Very important. So without doing too much right now, if I press play, give it a minute or two for these new lines to now update their routes. Now, the only problem that we're going to have is that line from Port Exporto to Lost Wages cannot now connect. All right, it just can't because there's no possible way around it. There really isn't, unless they go on a fully flat. Can I even take a huge detour? I mean, that comes into Tumbleweed. Tumbleweed comes down to... No, I don't even think they can... No, they can't. Definitely 100% can't do it. So if I have a little fast forward now, to the point where, so the yellow's now updated, we're now just waiting for the green to update. So the green's coming down right now, so we know it works. There we go, the green's now updated. Runs down here, passes over. So we do have a cargo train who's caught out in the middle of nowhere, but it just quickly despawns when we get that issue. And then that runs all the way into Tumbleweed. The blue line's separate as well. And there we go. We have a fully fledged commercial and passenger separate lines all up and running. Obviously, apart from the Port Exporto line. That is non-existent at the moment. So, not going to be the be-all, end-all, solve all my issues. But, again, it's just something that I kind of needed to highlight to make sure that we had up and running. It really then does free up this. Because there was a few issues here with the passenger lines and cargo lines switching over the different track lanes. So at least it keeps all that pretty much separate. I'm liking the depth it's gone to around here, but we'll use the brush to kind of quickly smoothen some of this off. There we go. Just so it's not as harsh. Nice. There we go. And how are we doing down here then? Is it all cleared? It's pretty much all cleared anyway. So it was always going to clear anyway, but it just kind of, sparked my interest. At some point, we're going to have issues in the future. So get on top of them now before they do happen. So that's pretty good then. We got that line extension right now, utilizing multiple train lines as they all pass through. It is beautiful. Some dip off into other directions. I like it. I really do like it. But now we've got to think of ways in which we can improve the system yet again so I can get a train from Port Exporto to Los Wages a bit more efficiently. Now, it doesn't have to have a separate route. Technically, it is only one train taking that route. It is only one train doing it, so I don't need to do anything too crazy. I really, really don't need to do anything too crazy. So, I mean, a couple of options that I've got is I could literally just have a train line come off here that then connects into that. Would be, you know, a simpler way to do it. Or as it comes out here, connect to there. You know, there is ways in which I can mess about with it. It's, you know, it's not rocket science. But I don't like how they always have to go up to there. And I always think about, I could run something up here, but then there's train lines on both sides of the highway, and the height differential doesn't really work in that sense. It really doesn't. But at the same time, would we implement a complete and utter train line going through these areas and systems? I mean, we know we have the connection up to there. But at the minute, that's really only a passenger line that will eventually connect to something down here. Will they need cargo? I don't know. I don't know. I think for now, then, the answer would be just to implement the shorter side of it, because we've got these are see, that's another thing as well. Do we need intercity trains coming all the way down here? I don't think so. I don't think so. Get rid of that straight away. So I think now we'll just kind of do the bare minimum. But then look at how busy this little section is. Do I want to also throw passenger trains on the mix? Or am I just being a little bit OTT? Probably just being a little bit OTT. But you know, it's a valid point, isn't it? It is a valid point. So let me see what would it look like if I then implemented a additional train line that followed everything here. So obviously it's not the same points, but if I, for example, select you and align you to the object height of here. If I select you and align you to the object height of here, and then if I select both of those points again, or did I select that one? No. And then slope them, they'll be identical to the other side, thus allowing your boy to go on to create, again, the identical in every way, a 10, although it doesn't want to snap. Why is it so bendy? Why would it not snap for like a complete not a 90 degree? Have I got something not working? Let me turn the anarchy off. It ain't snapping for a full 90 degree. Is there something wrong, or is it just me? Works with roads. Why would it not work with trains? Alright, 10. See what I mean? I want it to be a 90 degree. Also, I don't want it to be dipping down as well. I want it to go like that. So, can I get it smack bang on 90? Let's find out. Right, that's as close as I'm getting it. And obviously, we'll bring it... Oh, that's... Oh, I just realised why. I just realised why. I had it on the wrong mode. I had it on this mode, the free form track. That's why, Seniac. That's why you're a damn foolio. So if I run this up to there, 6, 6 by 6. We bend it down, we connect it in. And just keep it standard simples, mate. Standard simples. Nothing too mental, nothing too crazy. And then that should then connect our orange and only be used by said orange. It should only be used by the orange track. So again, we have to give it a minute or two to kind of update its route. Or does it? Or can it not remember how to? Does it not remember how to work at this point? Oh, you know what'd be hilarious? Turns out it's not working again. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? So this train line 3, where are you? No, it's nothing to do with you. It is nothing to do with you. Right, let's get back over here then. So, connect the line from there to there and back. No, we're okay. My eyebrows are sweating then with the thought process that it wasn't going to work again. Now, the demand is not there for this train line, which instantly wants to throw in 3 vehicles. We bring it, no, 8 vehicles, sorry. We bring it down to 1. And I'm going to choose them to have the light blue color. So we have light blue trains. Only need 1 vehicle on it, 1 train line. That's all we need. That's all we need. So a better system connected right now. A better system connected which will ease the amount of vehicles we have traveling on those routes. But I'll be real with you right now. We need alternative routes. More routes, guys. More routes is what we need. So many more. Right, I did mention last episode I wanted to get more make it more walkable. So we'll sort out right now the bike paths. Now, a lot of these are highways and you can't really do much with them. So what I'm going to do... Oh, hang on, we're elevated in the sky. We're going to create a couple of overpasses. So we'll anarchy this, that's fine. And we'll go up to +6. So we'll do 6 by 6, so you're going to 1 for every block. And so that goes to there. So let's say I picked here. We'll do a couple of stretches. So we'll come out there on this side. There's a path just there, so I'll come up here on this side. And we'll come up here on this side. And then they'll all kind of just like meet in the middle. I might do like another one over from this area here. So as you get a little bit closer, we'll kind of raise it up. There we go. So first, just create a couple of crossings. And then go down, back down to 0. A little bit of a crossing over. And then back down to 0. And then we'll do one on this side as well. So up to 6, cross over, down to 0. And then we'll utilize this one first. Going straight down to there. And then we'll create a bend. So that becomes a 4 by 4 and then connect in. So a nice little solid connection here, which could come down to about there. And what would be pretty sweet would be if I could 3 or at least first go up by 2, cross that way, cross that way. 4 by 4, connect there. Bring this up a little bit more. Actually, no, not bring up a bit more. Oh, I deleted the whole thing. I didn't want it to delete the whole thing. Go to there. And there's no way on which I can... Oh, okay, there is. A 6 by 6. So a complete turn there. To go straight across, where then that would connect in like that. So you've got some nice little walkable connections right now to get over to this side. which doesn't go the full distance, granted, because of how the roads are currently set up. But I can then, like, with the elevation change here, I'll come out by 1 and then start to kind of like bend it all the way around. Which that can run straight up to there. So get like a more direct connection down to the little village area. And then if I picked here, so I came back by a 3. And then 6 by 6. And we got a straight connection into there. So you could walk directly all the way down to get into this area. It's all now technically walkable. Now I won't do one up to there because of how the elevation does change. Would we be wanting one around about here? So if I did like a 7 by 7, 3 by 3, straight in there. Or is that too sharp? Do you know what? No, we'll do it like this. Straight down to here. And do a connection just there. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, many people using it yet? Oh, there's one on their bike right now. There's a few people over here utilising it right now. What about these paths down here? Anyone on these yet? Not that I can see. And not there. They are willing to walk a distance. It's not like they're not willing to walk at all. I wonder if adding something in here will be like a good idea or not. So I go by 10 there. 4 by 4 bend. Again, just try and make it as walkable as possible. I don't know whether they'll cross this. I don't know if it works like that. There's only one way to find out, right? There's only one way to find out. But yeah, there's a couple of people right now. So we do need more people living in this town in general. Because they are all pretty much all the workers for the area around. So we can now slowly start to add more residents to the area. There we go. See what they get up to. Do we have death care over here? Do we? Yeah, we do. Is it busy? Not really. So that vehicle needs to get out there right now and start driving around. Really does, doesn't it? So, a lot of people now coming in. It will be a good idea here then to upgrade it to an asymmetrical road right now. So I'll just quickly pause and get it set up on the right side. So if I start it quite early, I can then dedicate that turn there and then cross and straight on. So you dedicate them early so you can have multiple vehicles making that turn. So the right hand lane, there's no obstructions. You got the green light to move. Pretty much. So hopefully that will aid the traffic a little bit as it rolls up the hill. I mean, I could stick a roundabout there, but again, if I can clear that traffic, then there's not going to be really much traffic going on anyway. Again, a few people using it. These little walkways right now, which is good to see. I want to see someone utilize these ones down here. And maybe go on to utilize these ones. Or even these. But I think you have to give it a lot more time before we start seeing people walking about. It also might be a good idea to implement some kind of a bus route going around this area too. That would be a really, really big help. But I think we'll end it for today anyway, guys. There's just some small little improvements which will have a large impact as time goes on. We've really now divided the passenger lines and the cargo lines in many areas, so we can add more capacity to them because we now have more capacity for them. So I'm excited to see where we're going to be heading in this. I've still got so much stuff I've got to sort out in many of the areas right now. But guys, let me know what you think I should be focusing on next. I still have a bunch of unfinished projects like Lost Wages still needs filling in and whatnot. But let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.